Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner-mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omar, thank you for having me back as always. Love being here, love doing this thing, trading these movies back and forth. Sometimes it's movies, sometimes it's TV shows coming up here soon. We teased that we were going to be starting an anime last week when we spoke, but then I interrupted because I realized technically, I guess it's my turn, and I don't skip my turns. Although you could make the argument that I did 8 turns in a row with the Mission Impossible series, but that was a special segmented series
Yeah.
that you have to pretend was actually just one 9 hour long episode. Um, and so no, the honest truth is I didn't get I knew that the anime wasn't going to. I was going to have to pile through some episodes too quickly than I would have liked to. So I jumped in with a quick suggestion.
That is right. But we're gonna keep things hot and heavy with the action as we talk about the movie from the 80s, Heat.
Heat from 1995. A
Oh,
group of high end professional thieves start to feel the heat from the LAPD when they unknowingly leave a verbal clue at their latest heist. It is written and directed by Michael Mann, and it, of course, stars Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer, as well as a sizable supporting cast. Omari. This is a American classic. Why have you not seen Heat?
well, like most films that I assumed were from the 80s, and for one, I guess I always thought it was an older film than what it is. So I was expecting like 80s aesthetic and shit, which not that that's not necessarily negative for me. It's just, I don't know, serious Al Pacino and De Niro movie. One day I'll watch it, but man, I'll watch a lot of 80s films and not realizing it's from 95 apparently. That's crazy. Cause yeah. But no, I didn't really know what it was. I
I mean, in
figured it
my
was a
mind, it
crime
doesn't really
movie.
read 80s.
Well, I don't
I mean,
know.
there's not really any 80s iconography of
No,
or 80s
watching it,
styling.
no, it makes sense. But for whatever reason, I thought this film was around since the 80s and thought it was like young De Niro and Pacino in this film. But, like I said, it was a 90s film. And having watched it now, it's like, yeah, you know what? That wasn't really 80s at
Right, we're
all.
talking about expectations of what you knew, what
hmm
you were expecting. That's right.
Um, but no, I just didn't get around to it. But I figured it was, I had always heard it was a serious movie, some of classic work done by De Niro and everybody involved. And so I
I
just,
I, I regularly
eh,
hear it attributed as one of the greater crime films.
hmm Yeah, I had just heard it like as good performances by the actors involved. I hadn't really heard
I
of
mean, yeah,
it.
it's one of the few times that you're going to have Robert De Niro and Al Pacino crossing paths in their storied careers. So this is definitely a big moment.
hmm Yeah, that's it. I'm assuming you've seen this movie a few times.
Yeah, I had seen it at some point when I was a kid. I watched it with my dad at some point, and then I had seen it maybe 2 times since then as a 18 or 17 plus old. throughout the course of my life, as well as seeing it again this week. But um, for full disclosure, I was in the situation that we already discussed, and my wife has never seen Heat, and this has been on our list for quite a while. And the other day we were like, "Oh, we're about ready to watch Heat," so I pull up my phone and I message Amari, and I'm like, "Have you ever seen Heat? Because I think we've talked about it, and I think you haven't seen Heat." And you reply no, and then I say, "All right, can we push can we push anime back a week, and I'll make you watch Heat." Uh, just to kill two birds with one stone right there.
Hey, why not?
So that's why it was chosen in this moment, but it's been on the list for quite a long time.
Okay.
In the
Well,
back of my head, it was like a 3 hour 30. And so it's almost been selected several times, but then it loses in the selection process because I think it's like a
gonna take
three
forever.
plus.
Yeah.
Anything that's a three plus, man, you better be fucking the
Indeed.
greatest picture of all time territories. Or you better be mashing up like 20 of my favorite superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3 hour tours are crazy. Um, that said, this is just shy of it at like 250.
Yep.
But yeah, getting into it, I like well, I took note of the opening, but like, because it was one of those quiet, kind of just, here's the words, we're doing things. And I'm like, okay, we're going artsy with this opening. Artsy's might be a stretch, but you get my point. Like, this is how you know it's a quality this is meant to be a film. None of that OST stuff right out the bit go. We're cinematic. And, and but yeah, I can see De Niro wearing his whatever outfit he did, just walking through like the hospital, like, well, clearly he doesn't work at a hospital. Like, clearly he's a criminal in this movie. I thought I had heard of it being a crime movie, and yeah, I don't know what he's planning, but he's definitely only getting in that ambulance to do crime. I'm not stupid. You do not look like you belong at this hospital, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have our joke, like Dark Knight-esque opening robbery type deal where we got the people meeting and doing everything. It's just they're not
Yeah.
shooting
We
each
got the
other in the
new
back of
guy
the
who
head.
immediately gives off shady vibes.
Yeah, yeah,
The
bro, I'm
second
weird,
we
bro.
encounter him.
Yeah. And he was like trying to talk and ask extra questions and like, hey man, don't keep
Shut the
asking
fuck
all
up.
those questions. And I'm like, so this guy, he's undercover or something, right? And then they do the robbery, and for no reason, he's just, you looking at me weird. Shoots the guy and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, this guy's gotta be, if he's not an undercover cop, because why would he shoot the other cops? He's only here to sabotage everybody. He clearly is not here for the betterment of the mission, guys. And yeah, they get mad and they kick him out, but I'm surprised they didn't just murk the mother.
I mean, they wanted to. He got away.
True, they did have him kind of pinned down, and then the cops came by and
No,
he
because
ran.
the trunk was open and lined with plastic. They were going to murder him.
Yeah, I had forgotten that he ran because I was just
Yeah.
like, no, they had him so close. Why didn't they kill him? Oh yeah, because they got distracted and he took advantage and left.
Yeah, that's a cool because like you meet Robert De Niro and all the guys in that opening sequence, but that is the true meaning of the Robert De Niro character is when he walks in and he's just straight immediately to like, all right, you guys good? All right. And here's the business that we're here. Like, take care of this motherfucker. Um, uh, uh, Immediately establishing his character.
Yeah, no, I liked his character in this movie, as well as Pacino. At first, it's like, are either of you guys good husbands or whatever? Because I got confused at first with Val Kilmer getting yelled at by his wife, and then it cuts to like Pacino getting yelled at by his wife for something completely different. And then I'm like, okay, everybody just not good to their wives in this movie. Um, but then I realized, oh no, De Niro he's a loner. Don't ever get a relationship with something that you can't abandon within 30 seconds when the heat's around the corner.
It's a key line that he says a few times
Yeah.
in this film. And yeah, and Al Pacino, maybe you could make the argument isn't necessarily bad to his wife. He's just
Yeah, I don't think he
apathetic.
is.
Like it's
Yeah.
just he's that's his wife's argument is you're just an empty shell. And his argument is like, I told you that when we got together. Like you at best are going to climb up to side by side with my work.
Yeah.
But right
Oh,
now it work beats you. Like
yeah. And also, my job is looking at dead people and investigating dead people and
mhm.
living through that. I don't necessarily want to come home and be like, what did you do today? Well,
Also,
you
his
see.
character is a coke addict. It's a scene that they cut out. There's one scene that they shot that very briefly shows that he'll do bumps that they ended up cutting out of the final cut of the film.
Huh.
Uh, so that's a little bit of explanation to character that I guess you could maybe just assume to yourself New York City cop in the 90s, his behavior and actions sometimes it's either you're either telling yourself, oh, weird choice by Al Pacino, or maybe you're already excusing it as maybe this cop is doing some doing some drugs. um
Well,
but yeah, I find that interesting that they decided to cut that out, considering
yeah.
it's like Al Pacino says it very vocally of just like those choices were intentional because I thought I was playing a coke addict.
Fair enough. No, that's interesting. I could see that though, because he does have like just random like ups and
She's got a
downs to his.
great
Yeah, got just random moments where he's just like super intense for no reason. So yeah, I can see that. Um, but yeah, like you said, the wife considered it more of being bad to her than he actually was. I'm like, because when she inevitably cheats on him or whatever, he's like, I never cheated on you. I didn't do that. She's like, well, maybe you should have. No, no. No, you're the one who actually pulled the trigger on cheating. For whatever reason, you did it.
Yeah.
Um,
Like Ash,
that's
like Val Kilmer's wife, Ashley Judd,
mm,
the great ass character. Uh, yeah, she's got. I don't know why I find it funny that Frank Azaria is the side piece, like the like the voice of Apu is the side piece to this like gorgeous crime wife.
yeah. And then
uh,
he go ahead.
I was just gonna say that like because I think by this point in the film we've established him. Um, Other than to shoehorn some diversity into your film, which if that's the case, why not just make one of your main gang members a black man? I don't understand with multiple. It seems like you agree with me with the
Yeah.
faces you're making. I've now had multiple viewings of this film, and I don't understand what that side plot is, other than like an incredibly slow introduction to a guy that eventually joins the gang and then dies within 10 minutes of joining
Yeah.
the gang. And then we get one quick silent shot of his wife learning about his death on the news. Like,
Yeah, I don't understand the point of him either. I was like, hey, it's the Allstate guy. Who's he? What side is he gonna be on? What? Okay, is he joining us? What's the point of this? How does
Hey,
he
it's the
play into
Allstate guy
this?
again and his wife. Oh, this is a real personal conversation. How's
Yeah.
this going to play into the film? Okay, we're not going to go back to him for like another 20 minutes. Okay. I
I
don't
guess he's
understand it.
joining us and he's dead. Um, okay. Thanks. I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, I did like the scene where they tried to have the little package deal where Rob Van Zant or whatever his name is, uh he was like mad because whatever they stole at the beginning technically belonged to him and they're trying to sell it back to him. Which, yeah, don't do that.
Right. And then you got yeah, him and his cohort who I'm pretty sure that's Henry Rollins. He's not on the initial cast breakdown. Like maybe if I open up the full cast list. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's Henry. That's Henry Rollins, lead singer of Black Flag, um,
Okay.
and kind of weird, but sometimes cool, but also weird motivational speaker or TED talker, stand up. I'm not sure what author. Yeah, weird, interesting guy. Did very limited acting work, but yeah, that's that side henchman to the stockbroker guy.
Gotcha.
Um, which my wife was like, that guy looks very boxy. Like he's very rectangular.
That's funny. But
Speaking of looks, John Voight looking super weird in this film. Mission Impossible 1 connection here. Way back into our Mission Impossible 1, like 2.5 months ago. um, uh, yeah, looking real weird in
yeah,
this
that
film.
that was the old advisor dude, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the like connection guy.
Yeah. I'm just like, this dude, this act. I'm glad you said it was John Voight. He looked familiar, but he also just looked weird with whatever the fuck they had going on with him. Like whatever choices they decided to choose for his character, that was weird looking. But
Yeah, yeah. Like, feel like it's like, is he wearing a disguise? And then he comes back in the next scene, and you're like, no, that's just
that's
how
just
his
him.
character. That's just his character.
No, his face just isn't that way. Oh, but
Uh, Shout out to super weird preteen Natalie Portman. Uh, is Al Pacino's daughter-in-law?
stepdaughter.
Yeah,
Yeah, daughter-in-law, stepdaughter.
uh,
Yeah. So it's like, wow, there's a lot of actors in this movie that you don't like, that you wouldn't expect if you hadn't heard that they were in the movie, I guess. But yeah, they eventually get to the point to where Al Pacino's tracking down De Niro, and thanks to one of the dudes using the word slick, that's all the opening they eventually end up needing to start tracking everybody down. But that eventually leads up to a big heist they were trying to pull where Pacino's boys catch him and everything goes awry. Black guy dies. Michael, the guy that got everybody followed to begin with, also fucking dies.
basically one of the most famous gun scenes of all time. At the point that it was made, it was depicted as one of the most realistic gunfights of all time. To the point where many different branches of U.S. militaries and law enforcements started using that scene during training material about a depiction of urban warfare. Um, uh, uh, they not only did they fire so many bullets, so many obviously dummy bullets. But it was during a time where most gunshots were dubbed in post. And this was after many months or many weeks of preparation and rehearsal. Many live microphones are positioned all throughout the set, so you're picking up the actual real time live audio firing of all those blanks, stacked on top of one of the first times you sent all of your actors to like a real boot camp, for like a tactical law enforcement branch, um, for like a 2 week intensive course. Val Kilmer reportedly got very into it and actually very skilled with like on like a Keanu level back in 1995,
Huh.
for John Wick today, of just like, oh yeah, he went and he started training and he's actually super into it and really good. And like there's a sequence, there's an uninterrupted no cuts sequence of him doing a multi-angle firing pattern into a quick reload that apparently gun nerds are like oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I kind of liked his character for the most part, but then like he gets shot during this, and I'm like, okay, so is everyone just dying now? This is supposed to be a 3 hour movie though. But no, him and De Niro escape, which it's like, wait a minute, De Niro didn't go back or didn't abandon the dude when the heat was around the corner like he said he would. He actually, like, nah, we're getting out of this together, the two of us, because that's been his like ride or die since the whole movie. Like they barely talked to other dude, to Slick Man that got them in
Right.
trouble. Look, for him to be the guy that got them all in trouble, they barely actually talked to that dude. But I thought that was interesting. I like the little sit down stare off where they pretty much tell each other who they are and just have this whole little talk at the table. And it's like, I understand you technically don't have anything on him to arrest him, but he is also here telling you he's an active criminal.
uh yeah. um the I think the cool behind the scenes thing on that one is that they refused, all parties involved, Michael Mann, the writer director, De Niro and Pacino, refused to discuss or rehearse that scene at all. So they got there on the day, and like take one of De Niro and Pacino reading lines to each other would be on camera. Like the very first time they're ever exchanging words. um and yeah, it's just a very, I don't know if that attributes to just the very cool, relaxed vibe of the scene, despite this being a very high tense movie and these two characters
Yeah.
being the
Mortal
protagonist and the
enemies.
antagonist essentially. Um yeah, it's a pretty, I dig that scene a lot.
Yeah, and I think it is cool that they apparently just improv that whole thing. Just yeah,
I
shoot
mean,
up
it is
this.
scripted. It is scripted, but they never like worked the lines. They never rehearsed.
Okay,
They never discussed blocking or like, all right, like run the lines a little bit and let me figure out where we're gonna put the camera. Or they didn't do any of that. They never discussed the scene whatsoever, so that they could go in there, sit at those two chairs, and go, and everything for the very, like, the cameras would be able to catch first time experience, first takes for
that's cool.
everything. and they didn't necessarily do one take, but like
Yeah.
I think it's just a cool concept of like
No, I like the
of a little
concept
bit
nonetheless. I just
like
thought it
it's
was,
Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, the two greatest living actors right now. Um, if they're working together, every second of it has to be documented. Like we can't waste any of this in some rehearsal studio. Like that kind of mindset is just a little bit like, okay, all right, I kind of dig that.
yeah. But yeah, no, that was an awesome scene. But yeah, we eventually get to the point to where dude's got to try to escape, and he could have a flight out, but he decides he's gonna get another one because he doesn't trust the exit because somehow they got betrayed. Turns out Wayne Grow is the guy, the fucking asshole, who apparently is also a serial sexual assaultist.
That in it with every rewatch, that side plot annoys me more because the high crimes division of murder and robbery is not putting any energy into the known serial killer that they have running around their city. Instead, like all resources and energy of the city's greatest police officer is dedicated to this high-end, high-class robbery outfit that like in reality doesn't affect anyone. Like if you would just let them go about their day, all of these police officers would be alive. That's one way to look at it. I know they're doing illegal activity and they are the ones that murdered those police officers. But before then, you had a guy who was just fucking murdering women all across the city, and it's just like oh, that sucks. It's like used as other than the very end to explain to for us to extra dislike this guy
Yeah,
that Robert De Niro is going to kill. It's used as a tool for Al Pacino to again be annoyed, or for Al Pacino and his wife to again be annoyed at their relationship with each other because he doesn't feel like he can come home and be like, she wants him to come home and express himself, and he doesn't want to come home and be like, I just found a hooker
yeah,
murdered in a really gross way, and it's a string of them, and like that So other than that, it's just used as that, and it's just with each rewatch, I'm just like, why aren't you investigating the serial killer? Like, why aren't you worried about that? Stop fucking worrying about Robert De Niro stealing some random bonds or whatever.
yeah. I'm with you. Like they just ignore it. They just keep moving on. But yeah, they do eventually realize, like, okay, he probably is gonna want revenge on this dude, especially because he goes and kills, or he finds Trejo, because he initially thought Trejo, Danny Trejo, shout outs to him, he's in this movie. Um,
They just named
yeah,
him Trejo.
and they just named him Trejo. And he found out that they found him, he kind of spills the beans that Wayne Grove did it and all that. So he goes
Yeah,
around.
that's a he's fucked up.
Yeah.
He is fucked up. And Danny Trejo, like, he plays it well. He like it feels like he is on the steps of death, that he has been beaten to hell.
It ain't pretty, I'll tell you that. But yeah, he dies, and then it's like, okay, well, we're looking for him. We're looking for him. Okay, maybe we won't find him. He takes De Niro takes the girl that he's been dating throughout the movie and doing the classic, I'm a mafia person, crime man, but I'm not telling you that until it's the maximum time where I probably should have should have told you this sooner, and now it's making things more complicated for no reason. Uh, yes, I'm a criminal. You just saw me on the news, but we got to get out of town.
Do you want to go to a different country?
Yeah, we got to leave the country. Let's start it all new. Then again, you know what? You can walk away, and or I can go by myself. but I can't live without you, or something like that. Some kind of like speech because he and her were talking about lonesome people and stuff earlier. He's like, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be alone without you, and all of that. But as they're about to go home free, and police kind of give up to, or half give up, Pacino does. He's like, fuck it, man. And he's gone. I don't care. I'm going to a hotel, then I'm going home, and then having to deal with that crazy scene of what he found when he got home. But we eventually see De Niro get the news dudes at the hotel. So of course he can't let it go.
Yeah,
He's
he has
gotta
like two
go to the
moments of he's like,
hotel.
"Nah, we're done. No, 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 we're done. We're gonna no, we're driving. No, no, no. U turn."
I just gotta take care of something. Gotta take care of something.
Super easy.
But yeah, when it comes down to it, though, he goes through, shoots Wangro. Everybody's happy because Wangro's a piece of shit. Um, but
He's got a swastika on his chest. So that's there to let you know that you are not to like this dude at all.
at all,
Unspoken swastika on his chest. That's just a bonus swastika.
it's just there.
For you to be like, do not like this guy.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Pacino sees the girl waiting in the car while everybody else is running, scared, and she's just kind of sitting in a car waiting. Which, yeah, I'd be kind of suspicious of that too. Like, you're not running out of the car. There's active gunshots and shit. I'm at least ducking if I'm in the car. But that pretty much gives away the position of where the dude's gonna escape to. And when he sees her and he sees the dude, the heat that's coming, true to his word, the discipline that he has to leave her and run off on his own.
And wouldn't you know it, it is from the moment he sees Al Pacino to the moment he finally turns his back and starts running is exactly 30 seconds.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
if he
we,
can't
so now
abandon her
we get
within
kind of
30
a like a little
seconds.
bit of a slow like this is that version of 90s action film where it's like you didn't have to be Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold Schwarzenegger. You just be a dude running around with a gun.
Yeah, they're just running through like a train yard and then in like some other thing, then to the airplane hangar and just
Yeah,
like,
running
yep,
through an airport.
yeah. But yeah, we get the cool climactic shot with the plane coming and Pacino, shadow, bam, blap, blap, blap. I didn't know who I wanted to root for. Obviously, the criminal's the criminal. But we also have been following Pacino pretty not Pacino, De Niro pretty closely the whole fucking movie.
Yeah,
But I think the second he abandoned the girl, it's like, okay, yeah, he's more than likely dying. I can't see him actually getting away after abandoning the girl. Unless she somehow still gets to go away without being questioned by the police and meets him. But that's no. But yeah,
right.
he gets shot, and they have this cool like bro handshake moment as he's dying, like that respect, like I respect you, you know. I hated your guts, but at the end of the day, we have a bond that's stronger than any friendship.
Right. Well, because
Because
that
men,
coffee shop is trying to depict like the coffee shop scene is trying to depict like a Joker Batman
Mm.
relationship kind of, or at least how Joker sees it in his eyes of just like, no, like we have to exist together. Like one only exists if the other exists, and like, and we're perfect for each other, kind of thing. That's a little bit of the vibe that's trying to be portrayed there in that coffee shop sequence.
Hmm.
So then that's then reflected there with that with the bro shake.
Told you I wasn't going back. Yeah, you did. Like, yeah, I guess he's
And I
right.
think like the sequence you alluded to at Pacino's home before he goes to the hotel is I think that is like that's the character cementing moment for the viewer, at least I think for the movie makers, to be
Yeah.
like, this is the guy you root for,
Hmm.
folks. Like, we've been depicting moral gray areas
But
here,
now
but
we
like
got the
there's one hero in this scenario,
yeah.
and it's this guy. Like, realize what he does for like, think about what he does for a living, kind of thing.
No,
So
I.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Hmm. But yeah.
All right, that was Heat. What did you think about it, Amari?
It
Sometimes these movies can be a little shaky for you. The finer works of cinema sometimes don't leave you satisfied. They're tiny little morsels.
so
But this one had some guns.
no, it did have some guns. It had some, well acted scenes. It had some moments that dragged on a little slow for me.
Mm,
But all in all, no regrets watching it. Like I said, the acting in it, especially in certain moments, fantastic. I like the fact that they did that scene the way they did to get the most out of it. Like you said, with the let's not tell anybody, let's have it literally be like our characters just walked up to each other and met each other for the first time here. So the the amount of work and effort put into it, I expect a lot. I don't know how often I would rewatch. I think it probably would be like a 2 or 3 times over, a 5, 6 year span, kind of like what you were talking about, if that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, Heat, fucking terrible. The fucking movie is the fucking worst shit I've ever seen in my life. Fucking boring ass thing. Call it sleep." Now you can't sleep. Them guns is way too fucking loud. You will definitely wake up at some point and be like, "Guns." Oh,
I don't know. Sometimes I think my working theory is if you're somebody who sleeps with something like that going, uh, if you see anything enough times, it could become your sleep movie. I had a good buddy who slept every night to the movie Gladiator, which we covered on the show.
yeah.
Um, yeah, lots of ping, pling, pling, boom, pling, boof, boof, boof.
No,
Ooh.
that's fair.
Like it's a very noisy film, but once you're on number 20 of it repeating,
It just
it's
becomes background noise. It's just all
right.
static.
Yeah,
No, I can see that. All right.
weird that somebody would pick Gladiator. Weird that somebody would pick Heat to go to bed to, but I bet somebody does.
Yeah.
Somebody out there. All right, next week we are going to be doing My Hero Academia, so that'll be a big one. We'll be talking about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be how do you even break that down? How do you
Oh,
even
we
break that
got
down? We'll
away.
we'll talk that. We'll talk about that, I guess, next week. Uh, you can also see us on the You Don't Watch Sports channel on Saturdays, where we talk about three topics, just to sprinkle a little sports information into your casual conversation. We're a guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. We just dropped an episode of Mock Draft where we give our wrestling hot takes. You got to go over there and check it out. We drop some doozies, particularly, I would say, myself and Super Jazz.
Soup. But
uh,
just
really bring the heat to
yeah,
the conversation.
Sunday night.
I'm Mario. Where else can I find you on the internet?
They can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in. Stop on by. Streaming Earth Day 240. You know what that means? Already like 280 days in. Yeah, so you can't see him anymore because the camera's off. So you can't see me either. Talk to you next week. Adiosness.